We train to have mastery of our own mind.
What's up, guys? I'm Jai Sugaram, and today I'm going to explain to you how intermittent fasting works while I teach you how to make a ketogenic coffee. You can also use tea, but this is a high-fat beverage that you can have in the morning to stabilize your blood sugar, give your brain some fuel until you eat your one meal of the day. So over here on the stove, I have the coffee brewing. When it's done, I'm going to toss it in the Vitamix with a scoop of butter and a scoop of coconut oil and blend that up while we wrap here. You can also use the bulletproof MCT oil. It's called brain octane oil. This is just good. You drop that in the blender, or you can just have a teaspoon or two of that, and it's enough to keep you stable until you have your meal of the day. I'm super excited to be on this challenge with you guys, and I'm going to lead the way by challenging myself to drink water for all 3 days. I'm very experienced with fasting, and I get a lot out of pushing myself with just the water fast. So you are invited, if this is your first time, if you are new to fasting, I would like you to have one meal a day and a ketogenic tea or coffee in the morning. So withhold your hunger. We're going to start Thursday at 5 p.m. So your last meal should already be eaten at lunch or just before 5. And then I want you to wait till the whole next day, till Friday at about 3, 4, or 5 to eat your one meal of the day. And the same thing, you follow that into Saturday at 3, 4, or 5, and then you'll break the fast at 5 p.m. on Sunday. So we're going for a full 72 hours where you eat one meal per day. And I recommend that 3, 4, or 5 p.m. window because it really stretches the phase of time. If you measure that you're sleeping the night before and you haven't eaten any food, when you wake up and you churn through your day with just a ketogenic coffee or tea, you're giving the body a chance to deplete its ordinary sources of fuel. You're going to deplete the glycogen in the body, and then it starts to use its own fat, and it starts to eat the diseased cells, the dead cells, the weak cells, the viruses, the bacteria that don't belong in there. So we want to turn on this process of autophagy by eating in a narrow window of time. If you know that this is already too difficult, you can eat 2 meals per day, but I would recommend eating in a time-restricted window. So that means maybe you'll eat at noon and again at 5 or 6 p.m. So you shorten that window of time when you're consuming food, and you free up the energy of digestion that can be harnessed towards spiritual awareness, towards thinking about things outside of the box and being receptive to downloading new forms of information during a time where you're restricting your intake consciously. I started fasting about 20 years ago when I read a book by Elson Haas called Fasting with the Seasons. And I started doing an occasional day of fasting mixed with juice cleansing and doing the maple syrup, cayenne, pepper, and the lemon water. And I would drink that for 3 days. So about 5 years ago, I started experimenting with water fasting because I got really deep into the yogic practice of restriction, of doing less, eating less, being content, and trying to discipline the senses from going outwards all the time. I became intrigued as I deepened my practice of yama and niyama, the yogic code, and as my body started to surrender mastery of the asanas, as it became bigger and less bendy, less flexible, fasting was a way for me to go deep with my mind while I held my body back from the extreme edges of performance. Because at 45, I'm now aiming to lead a long, healthy life. I don't push beyond my limit for too hard or too long anymore. I feel the consistency and the foundation I've built is something I want to hold on to and maintain. So fasting is a very psychological thing. Like when you're hungry, you tap into these primal forces, like our ancestors. Think about our ancestors and their relationship to food. Food was not all over the place on a conveyor belt as it is today. Food had to be hunted. Food had to be foraged for and picked and seasonal and ready. And they would eat sugar once in a while when they stumbled upon a honeycomb or a patch of berries, but they didn't have access to food in the way we did today. So this idea of eating one meal a day, as I challenge you here on the mind-body reboot, is, can you be content and hook into your ancestral energy? They made it through ice ages, through wars, through famines, in an unbroken stream to propel the DNA forward till it became you. So you and I should be comfortable with a little bit of hunger here now. We should play with the edges of what's possible in our scheme of reality, what's possible with our temperament. How could we try to stretch what is possible? So going to the edges like this, it expands the norm. It expands what we're capable of. So I've used fasting as a tool for times like when I'm flying and I forget to pack and bring my own food. I can fast through that because the airline food is usually not really good for my body. It's a resource for times of maybe not having access to healthy things, or a time for the inward path where you can harness that energy of digestion and use it for spiritual awareness, to realize self-love, self-acceptance, and then giving to others without accepting too much back, just giving from a raw place that where taking care of others is taking care of myself. So we can hook into these higher vibratory frequencies in our body when we're not always engaging the downward and side-to-side flow of digestion. So by fasting, you build an inner resolve, a mental strength, and you learn how to be content as the body heals itself and repairs itself. So I want you guys to push yourself. I'm pushing myself because I fast seasonally. Every quarter I do a water fast. So I'm due, this is my fast, and I'm bringing you along for the ride. And I only choose to supervise those that are experienced with fasting in a water fast. I'm challenging everyone else to just do ketogenic coffee or tea. That's an extreme level. But the ketogenic coffee combined with one meal a day is going to test your edges, and it's going to give you some recuperative healing benefits of fasting. If you eat 2 meals a day, just do it in a restricted window, like 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. Narrow it down so that you test yourself. So it's the easiest thing in the world. It's called the ketogenic coffee or ketogenic tea because the ketones released from the fat fuel your brain so you don't feel exhausted and depleted while you work throughout the day till you get to your one meal at 3, 4, or 5. So you can see here I've dumped the coffee in. I am choosing coconut oil. There we go. A large spoon of coconut oil and a fine dollop of butter. You can use just coconut oil if you want. You can also use the brain octane oil from Bulletproof, but it's super simple. We're letting it rock here. Bam, 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 bam. Let's bring it up. It's like a milkshake. It's going to be like a milkshake. And voila. Watch out, watch out. Done with the water. There it is. There it is. That, my friends, that'll hold you over till the meal of the day. And now the meal of the day should be hearty, substantial, healthy. Avoid fried foods, avoid processed food, avoid sugar. But one feast, and then you shut it down till the next day. So to review, Thursday at 5 p.m. you're done eating. Friday morning you make one of these, kick it back, ketogenic coffee. You wait to eat till 3, 4, or 5. Shut it down. Repeat the cycle. Saturday morning, ketogenic coffee. Eat at 3, 4, or 5. Shut it down. Sunday morning, ketogenic coffee. Wait till 3, 4, or 5. No, wait till 5. Wait till 5 p.m. You wait till 5 and you made it to 72 hours. That's 3 full days of time-restricted eating, which is a fasting mimicking diet. And it will give you a lot of charge and a lot of awareness for food choices as you propel yourself to the next part of the challenge. All right, guys, take care and work hard, stay strong, and be hungry.